Welcome back from A to Z. You know what time it is. I'm back with another sick episode. Today I have South African advertising royalty. He's an A-lister, guys. Number one ranked copywriter in Africa and the Middle East. He also won the 2020 Brand South Africa Young Creative Award at the Loeries. I'm talking about none other than Tshepo Tumahole. Tshepo, welcome, bro.
Thank you so much, brother. Hey, these titles and all these things that people keep on mentioning. I shy away from so much, but yeah, thank you so much. I'm really humbled, bro.
Hey man, thank you so much for joining me. I know you're super busy, working hard, working late. Man, we just want to go from A to Z, find out where you started, find out how you got into the game, find out what you're working on, and what's gonna be happening in the future. You ready to go from A to Z, bro?
Yeah, definitely. And thank you for having me once again, brother.
Appreciate it, dude. Man, let's start right at the beginning. Let's talk about your upbringing. I know you grew up Vaal. Let's talk about that a
Yeah,
bit. What is your upbringing like?
cool. So like, growing up Valley Joe, it's quite an experience, and I'm sure as much as most of us come from the township, we all have our different experiences. We all grow up in different ways, but in some other way, you just see these worlds combining and intertwining, and you find that most townships have so much in common. But for me personally, it was a great experience. Firstly, because in a township you get to meet so many people and so many different characters, and everyone is pretty much, every adult is pretty much your parent, like the neighbors are your parents, everybody's your parents. So it teaches you a lot of fundamental things about life, and you start to respect everybody around you. And I think it just influences your decisions in life, and it influences the kind of person you are. So just having that upbringing and just growing up in a space where you meet so many different people from different cultures, it was great, and it contributed to the work that I do today, and it contributed to how I'm able to just talk and communicate with people. So yeah, I went to Cedar High School, which is an African school. So that's the weird thing about the Vaal as well. There's a lot of African schools, so it's an African school, but we didn't really do much Afrikaans, which is also like quite weird
But
because
I
I
have a
mean,
question on that. I have a question on that. Were you wearing the
cool.
brown shorts and the brown shoes?
No, never. No, never. Dude, like here's the funny thing. I probably had white kids in grade 8 and 9, probably. And then from then on, like I never had white kids in our class. So that's the weird thing. I went to Cedar High School, and that also teaches you a different experience because you're coming from the township and you get to go to a school in town. It's still a government school, it's nothing fancy, it's not a private school, it's still a government school, but your parents, with the little that they have, they try to actually try and expose you to different things, expose you to other people, to different ways of doing stuff. So obviously I don't come from a very privileged like background, so everything was just a matter of being creative and trying to find ways to get things, from saving money to hustling to doing this and that. Like as a township kid, you learn very fast that you need to be creative in order for you to get the things that you want.
Yeah, even
So
me, like growing up as middle class, like if it isn't there, you have to figure out a way to go out and go get it. And I think that's what makes us what we are today. But go ahead, continue.
yeah, no, like you're definitely right. And so for me, those kind of things help you to actually navigate this life thing. You actually get to see things in a different perspective. So during my high school years, those were amazing. Like I enjoyed high school so much because that's where I finally became myself. And that's where I started finally getting who I am, like getting to meet new people, getting to finally express myself, and I think that's probably part of the reason why I was like SRC, or what do you call it, RCL back then. I'm elected as these things simply because you get to be creative. Even how I used to get people to here's how I got into it, right? How I would get people to vote for me. So you'd usually go out and talk to people, give them a paper, with your name so that they remember your name, coming voting period, they can remember your name from this class and all of that. So I was like, I'm not going to give people a paper. I'm going to make stickers. So you stick it on your bag, because papers, you don't remember who's who, but I'm the only one that sticks, and the first year I did that, I was elected and I was in there, you know what I mean? So from then on, you start to stretch your mind, like, how can I actually make myself different? How can I be more creative? I don't have as much money to print as many things as other kids, as other privileged kids are printing. I don't have money to even print in color, and those stickers I hustled. So my mom, it's a long story. So my mom worked at a hospital now, and then they used to have stickers that they print stickers for patients to put on the medication and all of that. So she used to have like rolls and rolls of those things, So I took those. Somehow I managed to print on those things. No, actually, I wrote on paper and I pasted it on those things. And some I got printouts of those names, and then
like it was like it was lino, basically, like some.
Even worse, even worse. So I had to cut those things out, but then it worked. The method worked, and people were fascinated. Like, people were sticking these things on shoes, on tables. So like, people were even starting to advertise for me. Like, so when you leave the class, the stickers are there. The stickers are all over, and that's how I actually got elected. And that's pretty much it sums up my life in the Vaal. How I would find different ways, creative ways to just achieve the things that I want.
Dope. So yeah, you've always kind of been a creative, or at least in high school, that's where it sparked your creative side. How did you decide that you were going to be a creative? I heard a story that you heard a YFM ad for the AAA School of Advertising calling for copywriters. Please tell us a little bit about that and how you won it.
Okay, cool. So I don't think you decide to be a creative. I mean, I think it's God-given. We're all born creative. We just express it in different ways. So we all given a mind to just think laterally and not just be literal about stuff. So how it happened with me is that, funny enough, in my matric years, I started enjoying, because there's paper 3, like, which is creative writing and essays and all those things. I started enjoying that more than, like, your paper 1s, which is like basic language, and your paper 2s, which is like poetry and literature and all those things. So I started enjoying those kind of things, but I never really knew like what I would do with it. I just enjoyed the fact that I could imagine something and just write it down and get marks for it. It felt like an easy thing to do. It wasn't easy, but it felt like just something that I enjoyed doing. So in my matric year, I've always known about the AAA School of Advertising. I think I found out about it maybe in primary school, and I just knew I wanted to be in marketing. I loved marketing. I loved watching ads. I love seeing brand managers talking about brands and just representing a brand and living that brand, like, so I was caught up in that space. Like, I want to do this. I want to work with brands. I want to be with brands, but I don't know how to do this. I know there's a AAA School of Advertising, and there I can be a brand manager if I go there. So that's all I was thinking about. I didn't know there's a creative side. I just thought marketing, brand manager, that's the person who represents the brand. That's the person who comes up with the ads. So then one morning, like, it just so happened that particular morning, I just listened to the radio and they were talking about this competition where they were giving away bursaries for copywriting at the AAA School of Advertising. So the only thing that really fascinated me there was AAA School of Advertising. Copywriting, I didn't know what it was about, but then the task was something I could do. They asked us to write an ad about ourselves. So what I did then, I just wrote about this guy who's just the coolest person you'll ever meet in your life. Like, this guy who just went to Italy to buy socks, to the fashion week just to buy socks, and he came back. And I think it's the Vaal influence as well. There's the whole 18 hours.
Sure, big.
Exactly, it's that. I won't lie. It's because of where I'm from. Like, the Italian culture and clothing and all those things has always been part of who we are. Like, so those kind of things I brought into to the creative space, and I think it fascinated a lot of people that who would go to Italy to buy stocks, who would do this and this, who would do this, and I wrote that about myself. And then it fascinated them so much so that they called me and told me I was in the top 10. Then afterwards, I went to the school, and going there, remember, I'm from the Vaal, Joe. Even my English is not what it is today. I'm this kid from the hood. Speaking English is like, dude, we get a bit. What's going on? I'm used to speaking vernac every day, even at school. The only time I speak English is when I speak to the teachers or when I'm presenting, but most of the time, like, this is me. So I'm there, and you're shy, of course, because you're seeing these kids, and these kids go to these fancy schools, and you're just sitting there and you're listening to them speak. Already they're confident, they can articulate and all those things. So you're just chilling there. But, I just told myself that, I'm here to do what I'm here to do. So I didn't even talk to anyone when I got that greeted. I went straight to the table, and then they briefed us. And then the brief was for Virgin Active. And I had to write the radio ad for that. So then I remember I wrote a scenario about seasons, because it was for winter. I think it was for a winter promo, and it was around how seasons can change, or I can't remember, but you shouldn't change with the season or something like that. You should continue jamming. But then I had a funny story about a kid and a dad. I just can't remember the script at all or what the concept was. And there was a funny story about a kid and a dad, and this dad has been changing, or all those things. I just can't remember that. And then after that, there was a top 5. So they called me back and they told me that I'd made it into the top 5. So I had to write another ad about RAM careers. And yeah, after 3 weeks or 4 weeks, because I thought maybe I lost, maybe, it was worth a try, it was worth a shot. And then I got the call that I had been accepted to the school. So that's how I got into AAA, and that's when I started taking this copywriting thing seriously now, because I've been writing 2 radio scripts, and these 2 radio scripts got me into an expensive school. Expensive is relative. For me, it was expensive.
It got you to the next level, dude. It got you in to the door.
Exactly. And this bursary is worth 100K. I'm like, what? So this is big. 3 radio ads that I've written, and I just got a bursary worth 100K. So I started then finding out what this copywriting thing is. And this happened mid-matric. So now I was going to school. I was writing my prelims and my final exam, knowing that, Joe, whatever happens here, I'm in AAA, but that didn't stop the discipline. I still passed. But now what I did was with my paper 3 during my final year, I hope I could get it somewhere. I was so focused in copywriting and in storytelling, because I've been doing so much research, that was the best paper I've ever written. I made sure that there was a story, there was a narrative. I remember it was the story about my parents' house burning or something, and just the emotions that I was going through, the people who were helping us. It was so deep and personal. And that's when I started actually finding out that actually this is a God-given talent. I can just imagine stories, write them down, and get people to just imagine them with me. So that's my journey and how I got into AAA.
That's a beautiful thing, dude. And once you were in there, what was your college experience like? I know you said once you got there, you briefed, you greeted, you sat down, you minded your business, and you got to work. What was the rest of your college experience like? As yakokasi and intermingling with all of these different types of people.
So it was very interesting, and I think what helped me is the guys I gravitated to, because they were also guys from Kasi, and guys I could relate to, So, but then most of the kids, they were obviously kids from rich households. But what I've always told myself, and what I always tell people, is remember why you are there. I was not going there to compete with these kids, especially when it comes to maybe rocking the latest kicks. My parents can barely afford paying for where I live, because the school was only covering books, not all the books, but then it was just for tuition. In terms of accommodation and all those things, I had to find a place to live. And where I used to live, it wasn't great, brother. It wasn't great. I'm talking like catching 2 buses just to get to Randburg. And that time I'm not living in the Vaal, but I live in Joburg, and this is like someone's back room somewhere, but nobody knows this when I get to school, because when I get to school, I don't represent my circumstances. I'm just there to learn. I'm just there to be creative, and that's it. That's what I came there for. And that whole mentality around knowing why you are there and just using that as your strong point, regardless of your background, regardless of the circumstances you're in, just using that to be you're almost like your true north, and using that as something that determines what your vision is how I actually got through my college years, and it's how I eventually then finished and graduated. And yeah, I graduated top of my class. So that year of my graduation, I got 2 trophies. So one was being the top copywriter, and the second one was for the best radio ad, so the best ad rather, the best written ad that year. So it was a radio ad for Celsi. So funny enough, Celsi is our client today, and I never actually told people the story, but yeah. So that's what happened, and those were my years at AAA. Like for the most, it was fun, and you never felt like you're out of place. I don't remember my classmates or anyone else for that matter making you feel like you're different, you're not from Joburg, why do you speak funny? Why don't you have a twang like all of us here, So it was never the case. So those were the years, and I really, really enjoyed my years at AAA.
Dope. Dude, this morning I was thinking about that Jungle Oats ad with the little boy and the boxing. Are there any ads
Yeah.
that come to your mind from your childhood that you remember?
Brother, it's not inside, it's on top. I
The
mean,
easy
all of
one,
us,
yeah.
no one can deny that.
Yeah.
Brother, like most of us, like I'm saying to you, like we couldn't even like speak English properly, so we were like just out there, but it's not inside, it's on top. We
Yeah.
knew what it meant. You know what I mean? So I would say for me, that's for me like top up there. I'm at Look, definitely. And we're talking like back when I was a kid, right? We're not talking like
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
was
Like as
keeping
young
in.
as you can remember.
Yeah, I'm at Look was there. Um, let me see what else. Yeah, man, those are the two. Oh, and then yes, I cannot not mention this ad, the Cecil ad, with the kids playing soccer.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
know,
Where they're choosing sides.
bro,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
When that ad came out, that was the time I wanted to play professional football. Just wanted to be in the PSL one way or another. So when that ad came out, just resonated with most of us that we started calling ourselves like on my computer. We didn't even know who
Sure.
they are because those are guys that played back when our parents were young. So we started calling ourselves those kind of names, and it's just an ad that landed. For me, it landed, it resonated from kids to adults. It just landed. So for me, that would be my like top 3 ads that I can think of.
Let's talk about yeah, I digressed with that question. Sorry. Let's talk about your first job after college, right? I think it was Black River FC, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah,
Let's talk about
you did your
that.
research. This is
Yeah, you know
dope,
what
eh?
time it is, from A to Z, bro. We're going from A to Z. Black River FC. Let's talk about, yeah, you walking into your first copywriting job there. What was that like? And were there any people who played a major part or like shifted your thinking in any way and impacted your career?
Yeah. So what happened with Black River? So when you finish at AAA, they give you an option to go to an agency, right? So you write your wish list, and the lady was Trudy. Her name is Trudy. So she would then call these agencies and tell them, I have final year students. They would like to come. They have to come in for like a month in order for them to graduate. So there was 2 agencies. There was one big agency, which was, what was it? Yeah, it was FCB. So FCB, I went there for an interview, and then my other agency was Black River. So FCB, they had accepted me to like do a 1 month thing there with them, but then I still insisted on going to Black River because I was already inspired by Ahmed. I was already inspired by some of the guys, Warabile. I was already inspired by Abolufono. Like there were a lot of people that I knew of, that I knew that if I went there, I would actually learn from them, so when I went to Black River for my interview, so I went already knowing that FCB has already like accepted me as an intern, but then there was just something, like I think it was just God saying just go there, bro. And then when I got there, I started taking them through my work. So funny thing is, so at work, at school, they would asked us to do a portfolio, right, with all the work you've been doing throughout the years. But I was like, nah, man, this work is based on what the lecturer thought was cool. Like my ideas didn't really, I don't feel my ideas in some of the stuff here. So I probably took like 2 pieces from AAA, and during that month when I knew I'd go for interviews, I started brainstorming, like writing proactive stuff and just filling up my portfolio so that I have at least 10 pieces. So when I went there, my work from AAA and the personal stuff that I was doing, you could see there's a difference. And Ahmed actually like pointed that out. And he was like, why is there such a difference between what the first 2 pieces are and everything else? And I explained
Was there more of a freedom?
Yeah, like there I could write whatever, I could do whatever. And I explained to him that this is what I was doing in my spare time, and this is like what I've been wanting to do. And then he was like, so at AAA you were just getting away with stuff. And I can see you're getting away with stuff because you're not pushing the ideas. Even your own proactive stuff, I can see that there, but you're just getting away with stuff, and I can sense that. And he was spot on. Like at school, I was just getting away with stuff. Like, I mean, I was trying.
And acing it, but you were still acing it though.
Yeah, relatively. Like not all projects, but some of them. And he was like, no, I can see you just getting away with stuff. And if you come here and if you work with me, I'm going to make sure that you are one of the best junior copywriters. Even if you leave, but I'm going to work you so hard that you're going to understand what it means to put in the work, what it means to craft, and all those things. And, when someone says that to you and they point out things you didn't even know that other people could pick up, you will obviously go there because this person is genuinely concerned about me as a creative. It's not even about the work in my portfolio. He's saying to me that he's going to get me to the level that I never anticipated, and the level that I would never get if I went anywhere else. So yeah, then I got into Black River, and he did just that, bro. I remember as an intern, like intern, you don't have money, you're using taxis, you don't have a car, you don't have those things. So I would work late, and I would catch taxis late, but I would sit there and he would sit with me. Like as an intern, I would be the last person there. And because I just wanted to work, I just wanted to be good at what I was doing. And I just knew that I only have 4 weeks here at Black River, because remember, it's a 1-month internship. I only have 4 weeks at Black River, and I need to make sure these people know me. And I remember I was talking, that's when I met like Fuad, I met Warabile, and those are the guys that were really helping me during my years. And that's why I met Shalisha as well. So then I remember the guys were saying, hey, Joe, we can't get a job for you. The person who's going to get the job is you. And the only way you're going to get this job is that when you leave here, we must feel that you've left. And that's the only way you'll get a job here. And that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to make sure that if Ahmed says this copy is not right, I will sit there. I will sit until this copy is right. I will go and review with him. I'll go back. I'll go and review with him and come back. So that was the journey. And what that did is that in 2 weeks out of the 4 weeks, they offered me a job. So in just 2 weeks, like I didn't even have to wait for the 4 weeks, but it's because within those 2 weeks, I was working my ass off. I was making sure that people can see I'm here. I I was learning how to present, I would listen in when the seniors were presenting their ideas. And then, when you try to mimic someone else because you're trying to learn, that's how I would learn. That's how I would present. That's how I'd express myself, because I'm coming from a background where, I don't know these things, being in corporates, being in
Bro, when I was an intern, dude, I interned at Microsoft, right? Microsoft SA, and they used to love the word bespoke. And the one time I used the word incorrectly in a meeting, I cringe till this day, but it's fine.
No, it happens. It happens. You're right. But that's how we learn, Joe. That's how we learn. So yeah, and within that 2 weeks, I already had a radio script. I had a radio script that was recorded. It didn't flight. And then, obviously I was sad. I was like, man, as an intern, I wanted this. And then third week, I got an opportunity to write another radio script. And that was my first radio ad that flighted. And now imagine all of this is happening. So the third week is that period where they're saying, okay, we're going to take you, but you're still an intern, but we wanna take you, we want to take you in and hire you. So that third week was amazing, because that's the third week where I got my first radio ad. And that's the third week where I got then offered like a proper permanent job, as a junior copywriter. And and then from there, brother, we worked on a lot of brands. We did a lot of projects. I met a lot of different people, and that's where I got to learn like how to present, how to talk to clients, how to not just write a script, but be able to act it out. And you can only do that by writing in your own voice, because you can immediately catch someone out if they're trying to be someone else. So that's when I got to find my own way of writing, find my style, so that when I present the work, when I do stuff, I know that I can present it to the best of my capabilities, because I'm the one who wrote it.
Yeah. And now, as a senior copywriter, what is your favorite copy to write? Is it radio, out of home, TV ads? What is it?
Yay, out of home. Hey, bro, those one-liners are hard. Like, funny enough, like people always say, man, it's just one line, a headline. If I was told that I would never have to write a headline ever, I would be so happy, because you have to say so much in so little time, or in so little words, so for me, it's definitely radio. I feel like radio gives you so much freedom, bro. Like, with radio, you can imagine any scene and it can just come to life. I can imagine a war zone, and I surge you to put in the sound effects. It's not like TV now. It's like budgets. Where are we going to get explosions from? Where are we going to get whatever, So radio allows you to just be free and to just think wild and just bring that to life. And then secondly, why I write radio is because I feel like South Africa, our strongest writers are the ones who excel in radio. And I mean, like, we've had legends, bro. Like, you've had your Jenny Glovers, you've had your David Krugers, those are people that you look at and you're like, oh, damn it, one day I would like to write like those people, so you see that, and you see, like, radio is where most copywriters compete, and it's like, that's what I always say, like, the radio category is like the Olympics for copywriters. That's where we all like test our muscle and see like what we've been doing, so, and for me, that's why I like that, because it felt like such a nice competitive space, but it's also like a space where we are all like brothers and sisters, like it doesn't feel like, geez, I'm competing with you because you work at this kind of agency or you work at this agency. It felt like, okay, we've all written, what did you write this year? We listen out, what gets gold, what gets silver, but it's all like, geez, next year we're coming back strong, like, that was good, that was nice. So that's why I also enjoy radio, because the category is so strong and it's so respected around the world, especially the South African writers when it comes to radio, because of people who've done this before, So even when you get into the industry, of your Neo Mashikos, of your Mo's, of your Grant Sitole, like all those guys, those are the guys that started writing Vanek, that made Vanek cool. So now you come into an environment where you can now even write about those stories you learned from the township, and it allows you in the radio category, and we're all impressed because we're like, geez, that insight, why didn't I think of it? Because I saw this, it's such an easy thing, but so that's why I like radio, bro. Like, it's such a great way of telling a story.
Now let's talk about the Loeries. Like you said, the copywriting fraternity. It seems like I didn't know it was that close, and you compare that much. I didn't know about that, but it has been said you are the number one copywriter in Africa and the Middle East. Number one, the top of the elevator right now, top of it, dude. So how does that actually feel being out of, I don't know how many copywriters there are, I don't know how many agencies there are, but you are the top guy. How do you feel about that, and how do you stay hungry and make sure that your next piece of work is your best piece of work?
Bro, I think what's firstly, I feel like it shows the kind of team you have around you, and it shows that it's not obviously like you'll get the number one and your name will be there, but there's so much that goes into that. There's so many people that play a hand in doing that. But it, for me, then, in terms of how it feels like a challenge, because hey, those numbers, Joe, it's hard to defend that title. it's very hard.
I can imagine, dude.
So because there's so many talented people, there's so many people who are doing such great campaigns, so for me, it's an honor. It's an achievement that I didn't see coming, to be honest. I just feel like it's a challenge for me to see now, where do I go next? Obviously I would like to defend it. I'm working hard to defend it, but it's one of those things that once you achieve it, it's actually not a thing you use to be arrogant or to say, hey, look at me, I'm number one. But it's actually a tool that you use to actually motivate you and more than anything, humble you, because you don't stay there for that long. It's only a matter of months till they look at the new rankings. So currently it's amazing. It's great, and like I'm saying to you, it was a team effort. There's so many people involved in this. Like, without the Sergios, how do I record that radio ad? Without his input, how does that radio ad get gold? So there's so many people involved in the process.
Somebody else that you work with, Tshepo Tumahole, your art director, somebody you work with very, very closely. Let's talk about that relationship, and is that who keeps you sharp and keeps you true?
Hey, bro, that's my brother right there, Joe.
Same name.
Yeah, that's my brother right there, because hey, bro, that guy, he plays such a major role in my creativity, and in the confidence that I have in my ideas, because I trust him so much with our brainstorm sessions, like, even if I'm writing radio, like, because a lot of people think like art directors shouldn't be involved in the radio writing process, but he's such a great creative that even when it comes to radios and telling stories, he's able to imagine what I'm thinking and then input in such a way that sometimes I'm like, but when you're an art director, like, how can you just have so rich, so many rich insights that work from a writing point of view, so I would say, like, it's been a blessing to actually be partnered with him, because it's not every day that you get to work with someone who gets you and someone who pushes you, and someone who's as hungry as you are. So I would actually like say he's actually part of the reason why all these accolades that I get to celebrate, like the number one position, like he's so much involved, and he's part of the reason, like, when we look at these things, we always look at, oh no, like, writing craft has to go to the copywriter because he wrote it. But when I'm brainstorming and I'm writing a line and he tells me it's work and I have to change it, that's part of writing craft. So yeah, he's someone like I appreciate a lot, and I respect him a lot, and I think he's such an amazing creator and working with him is a blessing, and is what's keeping me inspired every day and keeping me like wanting to achieve more, wanting to do more, simply because he shares the same sentiments.
Yeah, now working at a big agency like Joe Public affords you the opportunity to work with big brands and bigger budgets and bigger ideas. But what is a dream brand that you haven't worked with yet? What's on
Hey,
that wish list?
hey, Nike, bro. That's yeah. For me, if I can just do 1 year on Nike, featuring a Drake with Kendrick as a VO, and then come back to
I can see the slamba. I can see the
oh
joint. I can
yeah,
see
yeah,
it.
no, you see exactly, but saying to dress for the position you want.
There
So
you go.
so
There you go.
so for me, that's a dream client for me. Like I just feel like there's so much rich territory in the space they're playing, and I just feel like we can make such an impact, from an African point of view. I just feel like they are telling Black stories, but they're not telling the African stories right. So when they come here, it's all about maybe one athlete, but when they are there, they're speaking about social issues. It's so deep. It's deeper than that. And I just feel like we need a brand that does that, a brand that will say, in this period we're going through right now, we need a brand that will say with credibility that, you know what, we understand and feel your pain. And I don't feel like there's any brand today that can go out there with a radio ad that addresses the masses and tries to control the situation, simply because South African brands shy away from that. We don't want to associate with negativity or to be seen as pushing an agenda, but a brand like Nike can step in and talk about Black Lives Matter because they've built that credibility, with the people. So here, I don't know, maybe it's because our brands are still conservative, maybe it's because South Africans are conservative, but I just feel like we need such a brand. And if we don't get it here, that's why I'm saying I would like to work for or do a piece of work for Nike.
Dope, dope. Who doesn't like Nike, man? Come on.
Mm-hmm.
You know? All right, let's get into the quiz section, bro. I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, this or that. You can tell me how you feel about that, or how you feel about this other one, and why you didn't select it, just to get to know you a bit more. Right? You ready?
I hope it's not gonna get me into trouble, this thing.
Ah, don't worry. Nah, you good. You good. You good.
All
All
right.
right, let's go. I know you are a Steve Kekana fan, so RIP to the legend. We also actually had another legend pass away today. I think Tshepo Tumahole.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, RIP to the legends. But for now, let's hear what's your favorite Steve Kekana song. Is it Take Your Love and Keep It, or Abu Tabiso, or other?
Yay! Hey, that's a very tough question. So Take Your Love is cool because it's a classic. Everybody knows that. Abuti Tabi, so bro, people would play it in the hood, that song. That's like it's
Bro,
nostalgic.
I jam that song till this day, bro.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then there's another one that not a lot of people talk about, but feels so strong, with PJ Powers.
Okay. Okay.
That's my one. That's
Yeah.
the one that and you see, like, there's different reasons why the other ones are not really my favorite, but there are reasons that make them stand out as well. The other one is nostalgia, the other one's a classic, you can't mess with that. But there's just something, like on Feel So Strong with PJ Powers that just, for me, it's the one.
What else are you listening to these days? You listen to any podcast, or you jamming music? What's up?
Yeah, the podcast, I mean, McG's podcast is I think what we most of us are listening to, but in terms of music, hey man, 25K is coming with fire, bro.
Issue. Yeah.
Yeah, 25K, I feel like he's just someone who needs to blow up now. I don't know what's wrong, he just, it's time now. So I've been listening to a lot of 25K. I'm waiting for the album to drop. I don't know when it's
Yeah.
dropping.
It's a Peli Machiavelli.
Hey, that jam,
Too
bro.
much. Too much. Too
Uh,
much. All right, next question, bro. Okay,
yeah.
go ahead. Well, no, what else are you jamming? What else are you jamming?
So the new friend Casino and Ricky, Forever. Ricky's verse there is just it's been something. It's a song I've been repeating. I've been playing on repeat like every day. That's what I've been listening to.
Sick. Now this one, I hope you're ready for this one. Would you rather your shoes quack when you walk, or you have to do the moonwalk everywhere you go? So I know you like Doc Martens. So your big Doc Martens are gonna be quack quack quack, or you got to moonwalk everywhere you go, bro. Which one?
Hey, bro, those dogs.
Which one is worse for your swag, bro? Which one is worse for your swag?
Man, I can always hold Doc Martens in my hand. Start like the new trend, like I can always remove them from my feet. But moonwalking, no, I can't be moonwalking everywhere, Joe. So yeah, the first one, the former.
Alright, bro. Last one. What is your spirit animal, bro? Me, I'm a dog. Enjoy a game. You know what I mean? I'm loyal. I work hard, and I'll do a trick for a treat. What about you? What's your spirit animal, bro?
Jeez, I've never thought of that. Wait, isn't it funny how people always use spirit animal out of context?
How?
No, my spirit animal is Muhammad Ali.
Oh.
yeah, I'm trying to figure this out, but
Come on, but let us have a spirit animal.
Hey, yeah, no. I would say, let me see, man. I would say like a lion, bro. I say like a lion, man. Like those guys, I don't feel like lions are as brave as we perceive them to be. But I just feel like they've built such a strong brand reputation that people already associate them with being brave, being like king of the jungle, And I saw a tweet the other day, like, on what qualifications is a lion really the king of the jungle? But
pertinent questions.
Yeah, but it has built such a great brand property that you believe it as well. So I would say, like, just being a lion, man, just walking into a room and just being confident enough to act like you know what you're about to say and talk about, and just let confidence get you into spaces and places.
Dope. And that's the end of the quiz section. We're not done with this though. I have a question about where you see the South African advertising industry playing a part in actually changing the country, because as you know now we're going through a lot of turmoil as a nation. How do brands and advertisers do something to uplift the people?
So our industry, Joe, like I said to you, it's a little conservative. It's I'd rather donate than challenge the socio-economic activity that's happening right now. So it's quite a leap for us that we still need to undertake. Because we have built safe brands. We are safe when we communicate. We're just too safe, and we don't address issues because we don't want to hurt people. People are so-called sensitive these days, but you allow people to be sensitive. Sometimes brands must just be out there and stand for their truth, without fearing what people will say. So for me, I just feel like there's more we could be doing in terms of engaging people and finding out from our customers what's going on. So we just need to be more brave, man. I just feel like that's the only way we're gonna impact this. People are afraid to talk. People are afraid to address issues. We like sugarcoating stuff, we like trying to find other means and ways of making it seem like we care, but we're not on the ground. We're not talking to people. And at the end of the day, these are the people that buy our brands. These are the people that support us. Same way people have been giving artists like a lot of slack for not commenting on social issues because I buy your music. Now I'm struggling. What are you doing? Same goes for brands. People are buying your products. What are you doing, to address the issues that are happening? So it's gonna take a while. It's gonna. I mean, if it happens in our time, then we'll be blessed. But it's gonna take a while for brands to start engaging consumers in a way that doesn't feel like we're just taking advantage of them.
Tshepo, you've had an illustrious career so far. You've been winning awards since college. Now you're number one copywriter in the nation, and in Middle East as well. Let's not forget that. What what's next, bro? As a copywriter, you know you're a storyteller. You know, are you gonna be writing films, perhaps a book or something like that?
Bro, I want to win an Oscar, June. I want to win an Oscar. I don't know how. I don't know when. Do you know Kobe won an Oscar?
For that documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and you're like, okay, Kobe was
Yeah.
playing basketball and he won an Oscar. I mean, surely there's some way I can write an ad, and turn it into a movie, and get it in there somehow. But for me, it's a dream, and I would really, really like want to do that. And I think I should start actually flexing that muscle, if I'm not writing ads, just challenge myself to write other long form stuff, and which is something that I haven't been doing. I've been trying, I've been starting to do it, but I haven't been doing. But also, I also don't want to win it in that way. I want to win it via our industry, just to show that our industry is so much more than just winning an advertising related award. There's so much we can do in different spaces. There's so many things we can do. What's stopping us from writing an ad and getting Spike Lee to direct it, apart from budget, of course, but what's stopping us from creating an ad that will become something so big that you get big names on it, getting directors to direct it, and something that you can actually enter and win different awards outside of our industry. For me, I would rather get it that way than to write other things or start other things on the side that I hope one day will come to fruition and actually earn me that accolade.
Dude, imagine Spike Lee directing a chicken licking advert. Boom.
Possible. It's
It's
possible.
possible.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing. People think, who would have thought David Hasselhoff would be doing a chicken licking ad?
Yes, let's talk about that. Yeah, the new Michael Nyati. Oh, dude, I don't know how y'all came up with that, but talk to us a bit about your involvement and the creative process behind the new Chicken Licken Michael Nyati ad.
Yeah, bro. Yo, I remember that day when that idea came, with Tshepo. Like we were briefed, they briefed us in December 2019. So we were briefed and we're coming up with these different ideas, but then when that one comes, and it was a process because we were trying to find like a couple, like how do we get a product to break up, like a couple that no one saw breaking up ever, like no one could foresee that, in however many years no one could foresee that couple breaking up. And of course we started with people, like, do we go, this is before the Easy Bucks ad, do we go Karabo and Taumogale, maybe like have an ad with them and we see them like breaking up, but like, nah, man, that feels a little small, and then we went like, okay, internationally, what can we do? Who can we show? And then eventually, as you're throwing around names, you're like, hey man, why don't we like have a different approach to this? Michael Knight and Kitt, what if they broke up over like a chicken licking product? And that's how the idea started. And then it was like, okay, but then how do we show the breakup? Who's the reason? Who's the catalyst? I mean, we have the product, but how do we can't just say we can't just say Kitt saw the product on the internet. Hey, what if we created a local Michael Knight? And then you just, and then you keep quiet, you laugh. Michael Knight. Yeah, man, Michael Nyati. That would be dope, So that's how, you know what I mean?
And that, I just want to talk about, as a creative, in that moment, if there's any drug anybody has done out there, don't do drugs. But that is the craziest feeling ever. When it lands like that, like, there you go. Please tell us about how you feel about when it landed and what happened after that.
It's like a few seconds of euphoria. You're like, this is amazing. This is good. This gets me excited. When is that review? Traffic. We are ready. We are ready for that review. Like the 2 days you were giving us, we don't want it anymore. Get us in that room. We need to sell this idea.
So who did you talk to, Mr. Kolisa?
So first it was with Claudie. And she also loved it. And she, like the same feeling we had. She was like, yes, we need to make sure that we see Toli, we need to see Pepe, they need to see this idea. So obviously, like once you get that kind of response from your creative director, Tshepo and I are like, I'm fun.
It's a go.
Feeling we had.
Yeah.
Like happen. But you know, and that review is like on Monday. Wow.
Ish.
I have to go the weekend now. So let's see if they say yes or no to this thing. You know, and then Monday comes and you present it. Pepe was the first one to jump, bruh. Like Michael Nyati, you know, that stuck with him. He was like, yeah, no, this is the one. And you know, Toli as well is also loud. Like he was laughing the whole way through because we all felt in that room that we actually have something, you know, we have something that people are gonna love simply because of how it's making us feel. You know, firstly, the name Michael Nyati, you know, it's so close to night, you know, it can't be a coincidence. This thing must happen. You know, then obviously the process, you know, you take it to client is also like blown away and you're just waiting for this thing to happen, you know. And then we were supposed to shoot March 2020 and then boom, COVID. It was like, nah, brothers, you know, it's not gonna happen, it's not gonna happen. David Hasselhoff was ready to come here, you know, flight tickets, alles. And then, yeah, and then what happened was the job then obviously had to be put to the side. You know, then I think in later, I think it was June or something, then the brief for Soulful Nation came out because the brand was not going to be quiet for that long. Then Soulful Nation was done by GT and Impala, which was like quite dope, you know, like already we're like, this could be us, but then also at the same time, we're like, this ad is dope. People needed to see this, you know, like no brand has ever used so many influencers at the same time, not checking their style, but you know, so the team did a great job in doing that. And then you wait, and then there's Hot Wings. Hot Wings now comes out, you know, it does its thing, you know, people like it and all of that. Now you're like, hey, fine, we've been waiting for this Michael Knight thing to happen. Will it happen? You know? And Goli is also like, no, guys, you know, I always think like everything happens for a reason. You're like, Joe, it's been almost a year. I've been this excited about this ad. 2020 December, the ad is not done. So now it's like, hey, maybe it's gonna be one of those where if only, you know, if only that ad was done, it would be great. But then, you know, the year goes and then the brief comes back in. You know, we present that idea again, people still love it, you know, like God works in mysterious ways. It comes back. And now it comes back during COVID. So David was supposed to come here. How do we actually now navigate this thing? You know, does he call him? You know, hey, there are screens on that thing. You know, the director now is brainstorming with us. Let's put David Hasselhoff there. It makes so much sense. And now what it starts doing is that it brings in new lines like, sorry, Michael, wrong number. You know what I mean? So now it's actually becoming better than what it would have been if he was there. You know, he would have been standing there awkwardly. But now the fact that you're actually switching him off and you're saying wrong number to a guy who's been your ride or die forever. You know, it starts bringing in new things and new nuances. You know, now you're finding Thabo Malema, you know, to be Michael Nyati. You know, now all these things are coming together and you realize that the patience is paying off. And now it's landing during a period where people are not shooting a lot of ads. A lot of ads are all about, hey guys, stay at home, sanitize and all of that. And now here's a fresh of breath air. I mean, a breath of fresh air, you know, and people are loving it and people are reacting the way they're reacting to it. And you know, it's just amazing, and it's humbling to just see how like South Africans just loved that ad.
Man, the streets needed that ad, bro. The streets really did need that ad. You're right. Actually, all the ads, you're right. All the ads were stay home, stay safe, sanitize. And you guys came with something that nobody could have imagined. You just sitting here like, how did they make this happen? And you think, who made this idea? And everybody listening and watching from Agency, this is the man.
Yeah.
One of the men behind the new Chicken Licken ad.
Almost 2 years in the making, bro. Like these things, you know, sometimes they happen at the right time. And patience in this game, bro, is key. It's ideal. I cannot stress that enough. You know, patience is so important in this game.
Dude, how do you stay so audacious? Even to start with that idea and think, yeah, Michael Knight, Knight Rider. Yeah, let's get him on. How do you stay audacious, dude?
Bro, it's that whole thing of challenging yourself. How can I push this thing to a point where I myself can't believe it will get there. Let me push the boundaries. You have to, bro. Otherwise, if you're gonna start limiting your thinking, if you're gonna start thinking small scale, then you're gonna start doing basic work. Push yourself. And when you push yourself, you push your creative director, who pushes the ECDs, who then push the client, and who pushes the work as well. It's just a chain reaction, and people don't realize that getting the work that stands out starts with the copywriter and the art director in the room saying, this can be done, let's do this, let's fight for this. It can be watered down, depending on what the idea is, but at least it's still going to be 25% better than what it would have been if you started thinking on a smaller scale.
Dude, so I think we've gone from A to Z, but I think I have one more question.
No worries, I'm enjoying.
For sure, dude. When you do get to a different level, I don't know what this level is, I don't know exactly what the end goal is, but when you do get there, is part of your goal to make sure you leave the door open for other young, talented creatives of color like yourself? Or not even of color, of disadvantaged backgrounds, of color, of different creeds, of everybody. Is it part of your goal to leave the door open?
Definitely, bro. Like definitely. I think I would be doing an injustice if I was to just see myself as a Black creative, and I'm working for these brands, and I'm doing the work that I'm doing, but then I'm not opening doors for other people like me. So in my capacity, I've started doing that. So and I've opened it up to kids who can't even afford to go to advertising schools, because I feel like we tend to focus on the kids who are already in college, but I want us to start focusing on kids who can't even afford college. There's so many creative people, bro. It hurts me. Like, we go to TikTok and I'm like, this guy could take my job any day. How did he think of this? This is such a brilliant idea. And it's just sad to see that we're not opening these doors for people. So wherever I can, and with whatever means that I can use, I try and make sure that I get more and more people into our industry, because there's so much storytelling we can still do. There's so much that brands are looking for. Brands are also hungry for new stories. It's not fair for us as agencies as well to not allow these new stories so that we can actually fully service our brands. So I'm glad to see that the industry as well is opening up. I'm glad to see that we now allowing influencers to participate in this space. We are allowing creative people who did something, a dance or Bekele Beke, to be in an ad, and make sure that his creativity is acknowledged, and we actually like paying him. We're actually making sure that this person actually takes this thing, this talent, this creativity, and build something from it. So,
Pay the creatives.
yeah. So for me, I'm glad that our industry is starting to do that. The guys from Savannah, they're also doing that. They're actually getting people on. They're looking at trends. They're on the timeline and trying to make sure that when they go out there with an ad, it's an ad that actually represents people. It doesn't just take a trending thing and putting it out there, and like. So and even with our brands as well, with Chicken again, I think we all know like how the Garab when the Mukhali video was trending, and we knew that that's culture there. That's not an insight. That's not something you get from strategy. That's something that you get with when you know people. And the Soulful Nation ad I mentioned, it's just how now we're opening this massive silo, and we having all creatives from all different spaces just coming together to communicate. The communication space, it feels like for me it's going to get even more and more exciting, because this relationship we're starting to build with creatives who are not traditional advertising people is working out for the industry.
Dope. Man, just to close it off, do you have any words for the From A to Z listeners or any aspiring copywriters out there?
Firstly, keep on listening to A to Z. Bro, I think this is such an amazing platform, bro, and such an amazing host, man. And I'm very humbled that you took the time to like talk to me and find out about my story and all of that. And I just feel like your this platform should just I wish blessings on your platform, and I wish that it grows and grows and becomes big, and it even like supersedes where you would like to take it, because this is such a great thing for us, especially Black creatives, someone else seeing this and seeing these ads on TV, but they don't know that there's a face like them with a story that's similar to their story, and someone was able to do this. I feel like you in your own right, you actually opening up the industry. You're getting people to see that this thing is not just reserved for the kids who can afford advertising schools. It's actually something that you can do in your own capacity, and you can just make sure that you influence this industry. And I keep on saying that this industry is so diverse that you open yourself up to different things. You get to direct an ad as a copywriter and art director team. You find yourself directing an ad, even if it's a small ad, but you find yourself learning how to direct. You find yourself learning how to do certain things that are beyond your comfort zone. So this industry will allow your creativity to be tested, but it will also make sure that you get so many different skills that you can go out there and become other things and build other brands. And for young people who want to enter the space, you don't always know you're creative until you try to write an ad. I tried to write an ad about myself, and that's how I found out that actually this is a career that I can go into. So try, if you want to contact people in the industry, I always put my social handles out there, and
Go ahead, yeah.
and like it's Tumahole Tshepo on Twitter, it's a picture kind of perfect on Instagram. And I always let people DM me, ask me a question, write a script. You don't need to even like it doesn't need to be the greatest of scripts, but ask me about this, like, is there something I can pursue? What do you think about this? And I always give people an honest answer. But I feel like just opening my DMs and allowing people to do that is just me playing my role in terms of trying to give back to the industry that has given so much to me.
Dude, I really appreciate the kind words, and thank you for giving me your time. Dude, like I said, you've had an illustrious career so far. You haven't let it get to your head. You're super humble. I wish you more success, more awards, more dope scripts, more big budgets, more life, bro. Dude, I really appreciate it. It's been a dope chat, my brother. Dude, I think we went from A to Z. What do you think?
I think so. I mean, we can do this like, go beyond Z if that's even a thing. And I think back to the point that we were talking about not living within boundaries, we can even go beyond Z, man.
Sure.
So yeah, bro. I really appreciate the platform and big ups, man.
For sure. From A to Z. You know what time it is. This was another dope one. We had advertising royalty. Okay, A-lister. My man Tshepo Tumahole, senior copywriter at Joe Public. Please, whether you're listening to this or watching this on whatever platform, make sure you like, subscribe, share, make this thing go boom. From A to Z, we out. From A to Z, it's plain to see. This podcast is about people in my industry. Writers, designers, social media managers. Don't forget the data.